And the night shall be filled with music, and the cares that infest the day shall fold their tents like the Arabs and silently steal away. How do you go from being a wandering nomad living in a tent to a settled citizen of a stone city? The transition didn't just change how the early Israelites built their homes. It fundamentally changed how they worshiped, how they organized their families, and how they defined themselves against their Canaanite neighbors. But in many ways, the tent never left them. Hello everyone, this is Gilgamesh. If you want to learn more about this topic on your own, and I encourage you to do so, I have some recommended reading in the description that I used when I was preparing this. Before the widespread adoption of permanent stone structures, human habitation in the Levant, including the ancestors of the Israelites, was characterized by more mobile forms of dwelling. The Epi-Paleolithic period, for instance, saw populations using tiny microliths as spearheads and arrowheads for hunting, alongside sickle blades for harvesting wild grains, indicating a subsistence strategy that combined hunting-gathering with early forms of resource management. Natufian sites provide evidence of burials, some disarticulated and secondary, suggesting that hunters at seasonal times were reburied at base settlements, hinting at a degree of mobility and seasonal occupation. Israelite tradition itself preserves memories of a tent-dwelling past. The Tabernacle, the portable shrine in the wilderness, is described as a nomad's tent. Terms like mishkanot in Numbers 16, 26 through 27 denote encampments, and even David's sacred tent in Zion in 2 Samuel 7:6, and later the temple in Ezekiel 37:27, are referred to with terms for tent. The tent of the meeting, Ohel Moed, is also noted to derive from Canaanite prototypes. The Exodus narrative explicitly states that the Israelites lived in tents, Exodus 18:7. Zion itself is pictured as a great tent, enlarged and strengthened by her cords and stakes, so that she can shelter her numerous children in Isaiah 54:2. An evocative image in a time long after tent living had been abandoned. Archaeological surveys in the highlands reveal that many early Israelite settlements in Iron Age I, around 1200 BCE, were initially located in the eastern part of the region near the desert fringe. This placement allowed inhabitants to continue sheep and goat herding while gradually transitioning to farming. The earliest phase at sites like Isbet-Sarta, for example, shows an unusual oval plan with rooms surrounding a large open courtyard, strongly suggesting a pastoral origin where flocks were kept at night. This layout is strikingly similar to Bedouin tent encampments documented in the 19th and 20th centuries. This indicates that a significant proportion of the first Israelites were pastoral nomads undergoing a profound transformation. The shift from tents to stone structures was a gradual process, often reflecting a move towards greater sedentism and agricultural reliance. The broader Near East experienced a revolution during the Neolithic period, from around 8,500 to 4,300 BCE, where human subsistence changed from food gathering to food production, introducing agriculture and herding. This era also saw important technological innovations, including the development of building techniques and sophistication in preparing stone, bone, leather, and wood artifacts. While this predates Israelite emergence, it laid the groundwork for sedentary life. The oval settlements, like the early phase at Isbet-Sarta, represent a crucial intermediate stage. Here, stone walls replaced portable tents, but the form clearly suggested a function of protecting flocks, maintaining the layout of traditional tent encampments in a more permanent material. This mirrors how modern Bedouin settling down often replace tents with similarly shaped stone or brick structures before transitioning to regular sedentary villages. A hallmark of Israelite domestic architecture during Iron Age 1 and 2, around 1200 to 586 BCE, was the four-room house. Well, a few examples exist outside of Israelite territory. The vast majority are within Israel, particularly in the central hill country where early Israelites settled. This architectural form, characterized by its easily accessible rooms and lack of hierarchical structuring, became a dominant building plan lasting almost 600 years. In ancient Israel, building materials primarily consisted of stones and sun-dried mud bricks, chosen based on local availability and cost. Walls were constructed from field stones or dressed stones, often with mortar. Most Israelite buildings, regardless of their plan, were built on stone foundations topped with mud brick. The development of terraced farming and cisterns beneath house floors also indicates adaptation to the difficult terrain and lack of permanent water sources in the highlands. The transition to settled life in stone structures had far-reaching consequences for Israelite culture. The shift enabled a move from a largely pastoralist economy to one based on farming and herding, supporting non-urban sedentary populations in small communities. This involved conquering the ecological frontier of stony terrain and dense forests. Early Israelite society appears to have been largely egalitarian, striving for livelihood in difficult environmental conditions. This is reflected in the uniform plan of the four-room house, which showed no hierarchy in spatial arrangements. There was little evidence of significant social stratification, administrative buildings, or large residences for dignitaries in these early villages. As Israel moved towards monarchy and state formation, social complexity increased. This led to the development of gender hierarchies, shifts in land tenure favoring upper classes, and a tributary mode of production where peasant resources were extracted for the state and elite. While early Israelite religion likely involved portable shrines, like the ark in a tent, the establishment of permanent settlements led to fixed cultic sites. Standing stones, masabot, were common in the desert, serving cultic significance, sometimes representing gods or ancestral spirits. Archaeological finds include altars, such as the large ashlar altar with horn-shaped cornerstones at Tel Beersheba, and the ritual complex at Dan, which served as an Israelite royal ritual center. These monumental structures, often built of ashlar masonry, reflected the architectural components of royal palaces. The rarity of Israelite burials during the Iron Age 1 is a unique phenomenon, contrasting with other regions and periods. This is seen as a reflection of an ideology of simplicity and egalitarianism, possibly used to differentiate Israelites from other societies where burials had immense social meaning. The four-room house became a symbolic expression of the Israelite mind and an ethnic marker. Its widespread adoption and durability reinforced Israelite values like privacy and seclusion of the ritually impure, helping to define the new settlers in the highlands as distinct from their Canaanite neighbors. Other distinctive features of early Israelite material culture included a proliferation of silos, cisterns, agricultural terraces, and notable absence of pig bones. The shift to sedentary life and the development of more complex social structures were intrinsically linked to the emergence of the monarchy and state formation. Sophisticated genres of writing, monumental architecture, and centralized power are all signs of this stage of social development. The transition from tribal structures to a national state is evident in changes in settlement location, size, buildings, and artifacts. Let's sum it all up. The move from a mobile tent culture to permanent stone structures was not merely an architectural change, but a foundational transformation that underpinned the development of Israelite society. It facilitated the adoption of agriculture, fostered an initial egalitarian ethos, and eventually contributed to the rise of a complex hierarchical state with distinctive religious practices and unique ethnic identity as reflected in their material culture. I hope you found this useful. If you'd like to support this channel, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. If you have the means to do so, please consider a membership, as that would also help this channel survive long term. Thank you. Shalom.